What causes Yennefer of Vengerberg to be born a hunchback? And what does it take to become one of the most powerful mages alive? It's easy to see why she's a Witcher fan favorite. Keep watching to learn more about her. People can be cruel, especially to those who look different, and this inhumanity can have a lasting effect on the abused. While not a secret except to those who meet her later in life, being born a hunchback is a formative experience for Yennefer. As we see in Netflix's series, she suffers abuse as a child at the hands of her father and the local villagers, though her mother seems to be squarely on her side.
Woman's a witch. You know what they will do. She's our daughter.
She's no daughter of mine.
However, in the books, Yennefer's father abandons the family. Her mother, who had once been kind to her, blames her abandonment on Yennefer and her deformity. Due to the cruelty endured throughout her childhood, Yennefer grows up coveting beauty and power. She never wants to be pushed down on the ground again. She never wants to be that weak young girl whose only option was to take the mistreatment dealt out to her. She wants power, and Yennefer is in luck, because she eventually becomes one of the most powerful students at Aretuza. In the Netflix series, Yennefer is sold to the sorceress Tissaia by her father for a paltry 4 marks. Embarrassed over her deformity, he doesn't think twice about sending her away. Tissaia then takes Yennefer to Aretuza to be trained as a mage. In the books, Yennefer goes to Aretuza because her magical abilities are discovered, and Aretuza is simply where magically gifted people go in the world of The Witcher. However, being sold to Aretuza in the Netflix series emphasizes how little agency Yennefer has. She's treated as a possession, talked down to, denied love, and sold for less than the price of a pig. It's no surprise she becomes singularly focused on attaining influence when she's accepted her place at Aretuza. When Yennefer is taken to Aretuza to study magic, she attempts suicide by cutting her wrist with a shard of broken mirror. One would think being taken away from a pig farm where you were physically and emotionally abused would be a relief. But Yennefer demonstrates how sometimes the unknown can be even more frightening than the monster you know. She shows us the pain of her loneliness and her yearning for understanding and kindness.
You should have let me die. At least I had control over that.
Oh, that's adorable, Piglet.
It is clear that Tissaia, one of the fiercest characters in The Witcher, resents Yennefer's attempt at taking her own life, thinking her weak. Despite how tough Tissaia is on her, Yennefer comes to admire her, even looking to Tissaia as a mother figure. We repeatedly see this theme through the series, from many different characters, many of whom long for a family and a sense of place. Yennefer, like Geralt and Ciri, is alone in the world, both blessed and cursed with magical power. In the books, Tissaia has Yennefer's hunchback repaired with magic after her suicide attempt. This is because all students at Aretuza need to be in prime condition so they can focus their energy on their magical studies. However, in the Netflix series, Yennefer is only transformed in a fairly brutal scene when she is ready to graduate from Aretuza. Those in charge of the Magical Academy dangle the possibility for meaningful transformation, beauty, and power before her like a carrot, keeping her focused on how her life will improve when she has mastered her magical abilities and is transformed. Yennefer's desire for power and beauty can be understandable, regardless of when her hunchback is fixed. But in the Netflix series, they double down on her motivating factors by denying her transformation until her studies are completed. By denying her what she desperately wants, they keep her hungry for power, which in turn helps turn Yennefer into a powerful mage. In the novels and video games, Yennefer's mother is a half-elf. In the Netflix adaptation, Yennefer's biological father was half-elf, with her hunchback being blamed on her elven blood. At Aretuza, when arranging appointments at court for the graduating mages, her elven ancestry is treated with disdain, a symptom of the overall contempt humans feel for elves. This eventually keeps her from receiving her desired appointment.
Efforts in Sintra prevent the Brotherhood from placing a mage with elven blood in Aiden's court.
In the show, we learn this part of Yennefer's story when she confides in Istred, her first love, how her father died in a mass killing of elves, which humans call the Great Cleansing. She tells him about this in the Dananbe Temple ruins, a place of great magical power made of elf bones. Yennefer's elven ancestry explains why some of her magic is especially powerful, despite her struggle to control it. She seems to have a natural connection to chaos that other students at Aretuza simply lack. In a gruesome scene in the Netflix adaptation, Yennefer trades her uterus to undergo a magical transformation to correct her spine and jaw. We witness how singularly focused Yennefer has become in her quest for power and beauty. She will do anything to achieve her goals, even giving up the possibility of ever having children. This is a decision that Istred resents her for, because in the world of The Witcher, infertility is a common side effect of practicing magic. but not a typical trade you make to attain power. Since the use of magic slowly makes people infertile, it may explain why elves themselves can only bear children when they are very young, despite their long lifespans. In Netflix's version of The Witcher, there's a transactional nature to Yennefer's decision. She pays with a pound of flesh to become more powerful, beautiful, and ageless. This is something Yennefer and Geralt could bond over or fight about, as they do in episode 6 of season 1. The mutations that the witches undergo to grant them unnaturally long lives makes them infertile as well. It seems that to be human and attain magical power, one must give up something valuable to them. After decades of serving as a royal advisor to King Viaferil of Edirn, Yennefer leaves his employ when he sends an assassin warlock to kill the young queen under Yennefer's protection. This queen has given Viaferil yet another girl child, and it appears she's run out of time to give him a male heir. After both the queen and the child die, Yennefer is forced to face her regrets over the infertility that she chose with her power and beauty. She's dissatisfied with a life that now feels empty and lonely. This might seem like a surprising reaction to the situation, considering how little value she placed on the queen's life, but one can never guess how the trauma of being hunted will make you feel.
I gave you all I could give. What more do you want? Everything.
After this experience, Yennefer takes charge of her own life, setting up shop as a freelance mage. Once she's on her own, Yennefer devotes her time to finding a cure for her infertility and giving love potions to couples suffering from poor performance between the sheets. She now has a seemingly singular devotion to procreation and physical intimacy. In the Netflix adaptation, Yennefer not only hunts a dragon hoping to find a cure for her infertility, but she also attempts to trap a djinn, hoping it will cure her with a wish. In the books, Yennefer also searches for a cure at the temple of the goddess Melitele. All of us who have watched the Netflix adaptation of The Witcher know Geralt and Yennefer meet because of a nasty djinn. The djinn injures the bard Jaskier, known as Dandelion in the books, and Geralt unknowingly brings him to Yennefer, as she's the only local mage. Yennefer agrees to help Jaskier because she has her sights set on capturing the djinn and using the final wish to cure her infertility. In the books, Geralt doesn't want Yennefer to be harmed, despite her tricking him to get a hold of the djinn, and he uses his last wish to tie his fate to Yennefer's. He does this to save her from the djinn's malice, as djinn are unable to harm their master. If Geralt and Yennefer are bound, the djinn by default cannot harm them. In the book, Yennefer hears Geralt's third wish and is emotionally moved, though she's surprised he would do something so foolish to save her, and tells him that he's damned himself. In the Netflix series, when Yennefer learns of his wish, she's suspicious of Geralt linking their destinies. Believing that her feelings for Geralt are only because of a magical illusion, Yennefer becomes dissatisfied with the merits of magic. She yearns for something real and a true family. This is the mental state she brings with her to conclave at mages at Aretuza and into the Battle of Sodden Hill. In the Netflix series, the Battle of Sodden Hill is the centerpiece of the Season 1 finale. Yennefer draws power from the fires the Nilfgaardian army has set, a forbidden magic, as tapping into it consumes most wielders and unleashes a brutal attack on the enemy. In the books, Yennefer is blinded during the battle by Fringilla Vigo, the mage attached to the Nilfgaard army, and a former classmate at Aretuza. Fringilla and Yennefer cease being friendly when Yennefer usurps Fringilla's appointment to the court of Edirn, where Yennefer remains as royal advisor for decades. Fringilla is subsequently deployed to Nilfgaard, where she helps develop the kingdom's power.
You also believe in forbidden magic, demonology, necromancy, fire magic.
Forbidden magic is one of the ghost stories taught to us here.
In the book, Yennefer becomes the youngest member of the Council of Wizards due to her bravery and display of power during the Battle of Sodden Hill. The council magically restores her eyesight, but the trauma of the conflict remains with her. At some point in the Netflix series, Geralt will ask Yennefer to train Ciri, as he does in the books, after learning Ciri is a source, a person born with a natural affinity for using magic. Yennefer is the only mage powerful enough to train Ciri, electing to train her in the magical arts at the Temple of Melitele. In the books, Yennefer and Ciri initially don't get along very well, as they have a bit of a power struggle and some jealousy over Geralt. This conflict exists even though Ciri shares a father-daughter bond with Geralt, while Yennefer's relationship with him is clearly more intimate. While training together, Yennefer develops a maternal bond with Ciri, ultimately giving them something they both need. All three characters, Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri, are orphans in their own way, with all three fearing they may be monsters. While they have spent most of their time alone in the world, they come together into a family unit, finding solidarity and safety together, at least for a while. In the books, Ciri vanishes through a portal during the Thaned coup, a bloody insurgence between opposing factions of mages, after which Yennefer is trapped in a jade figurine in the Lodge of Sorceresses for over a month. When she's released from the figurine, she is invited to join the lodge. However, she ultimately declines the offer after learning they want to arrange a marriage between Ciri and Thancred Thyssen of Kovia in order to create a northern kingdom to oppose Nilfgaard. While at the lodge, Yennefer shares information with the sorceresses about Ciri's powers. When the lodge shares the story of the elven sorceress Lara Dorren, who Ciri is descended from, Yennefer realizes Ciri's genetic link to the Elder Blood. Ultimately, Yennefer does not join the Lodge of Sorceresses, as her intentions do not align with her maternal need to protect Ciri. Yennefer's relationship with Geralt of Rivia is pretty contentious. In the second book of the series, The Time of Contempt, Geralt finally admits his feelings for Yennefer, their relationship becoming more stable after his admission. Considering how crazy their lives are and the multiple political events they are embroiled in, these two can't always be together. But for a time, Yennefer and Geralt live together on the island of Avalon, even cementing their love by getting married.
Since I've been following them, they've taken 23 individuals, all between the ages of 10 and 20. All except for Yennefer.
In the acclaimed video game series, the honeymoon ends when the Wild Hunt captures Yennefer. While being held captive by the Wild Hunt as bait to lure and capture Ciri, Yennefer becomes very ill, only recovering when Geralt takes her place. Unfortunately, when Yennefer recovers, she has amnesia, yet another complication that keeps her and Geralt apart. But whether or not these details will make it into the next season of The Witcher, we'll have to wait and see. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more looper videos about The Witcher are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.